Hello, this is Annalisa from Faith Dream Create, and welcome back to my channel. You are watching my Easter card series for 2023, and in today's video I will actually be making 4 cards for you. I will be doing up some alcohol inked backgrounds. I will be keeping some of the backgrounds in a full sheet, and then I'll be cutting out some different designs or shapes to create some fun Easter elements, some eggs and a cross. As you probably saw on the thumbnail, I had this idea in my head to take a inked background and create some extra fun elements and switch things up and not keep the alcohol ink in its full sheet for like a background on the card panel. So as you can see, I'm just using 2 colors. I'm using like a pink and a yellow. I didn't want a lot of color going on. I just wanted it to be simple, a few splashes of Easter colors, and kind of bring in that spring vibe. And I'm just using the blending solution and the ink blower to get the look I want, trying to get away from these circles and just continuing to experiment with inks. And these alcohol inks is definitely a process, and you just have to keep working at it and keep trying to get different looks every time. You're never going to get the same results. But I really love how it looked with just the 2 colors. I definitely need to add more colors to my alcohol ink collection, but I am having fun experimenting with the ones that I have. And I'll have all of the supplies that I am using in today's video linked down below. There is not a lot of supplies in this, like the alcohol ink, the tools for that, and then the sentiments, which I will show you when we get to that. And then I use a few sequins here and there, and like an embossing folder that is an older one that I probably will not be able to link to, but you could use a similar one that you have in your collection. I can even try to link to something similar if I remember. But yeah, just continuing to do up this first background. And then for the eggs on the cards, I actually just used a alcohol inked background that I had done previously as I was experimenting, and I never turned it into a card, so it was off on the side of my desk area. So just grab that and I cut the eggs, the oval shape out, and you will see that here in a little bit. I love that I was able to use that background that I didn't end up turning into a card and make it into something, because I didn't want to go ahead and throw it away. So here is that embossing folder that I was mentioning. It's like the snowball embossing folder with the dots. I will definitely try and find something similar. But so this is the background, and I was able to cut 2 panels from this, and I do go ahead and use one of the panels to cut some of the ovals out, and then I use that other background that I hadn't turned into anything. So these are the Easter sentiment strips from Simon Says Stamp. I'm not sure if these are the exact same ones they have on their website now. I got these as a freebie a while back, and I'm finally able to pull them out, but they did just release some new ones, so I will have some of their Easter sentiment strips linked down below for you. So I'm just cutting different ones out, and I do go ahead and matte them on black to make them pop on these backgrounds and on the embossing in the background as well. You will see as we continue going and building these different cards. I first started to cut them down with my paper cutter, but it was very intimidating, and I didn't want to like cut too closely, so I started getting out my scissors to do them. But yeah, so now I'm just cutting out some ovals to create some fun dyed Easter eggs, and this is the piece that I had done previously. So doing the same, cutting ovals, and I had enough ovals to create 2 cards with the Easter egg alcohol inked Easter eggs. I love how much color is in there, and I love how this turned out. So now I'm just cutting down that embossing folder, or the results from the embossing folder, getting that ready for the background, and then I'm going to trim it down, fit it on my card base, and just line up those Easter eggs. And I did go ahead and trim them down a little bit so that they would fit across the card, but I love this pattern that I was able to create with the alcohol ink background from the beginning of this video, and then the ones that I had created previously. So now just grabbing some more sentiments. I ended up using a lot of these sentiment strips from the Simon Says stamp ready-made ones, and I'm really happy that I was able to use this. It was so quick and easy to just grab them. You didn't have to stamp it, you didn't have to prepare it. It was super awesome. So now, as you can see, I'm just matting the embossing background onto some black paper as well, because I didn't want it to get lost in the card base. I wanted there to be an element of it standing out. So I love that I was able to create a variety of cards with a similar technique and take a technique like alcohol inks and expand it a little bit. And I really like how this idea turned out. Sometimes you have an idea in your head and it doesn't always turn out, but I'm really happy with the results. You'll have to let me know down below in the comments what you think about these cards. So just adding that border in to the various cards. So I did it on the embossing background, and then I did it on the alcohol inked background. And then I'm going to be able to go ahead and add in the black around the sentiments. And then I trim those out with the scissors. And as I've been mentioning in my videos, I'm actually just using my normal blue scissors here, like the ones that are hanging out in my craft room. I've been loving the Simon Says stamp fine detail scissors. Yes, please. So just continuing to add the black to these sentiments. I feel like you can foil these sentiments as well. So then the last card, I didn't want to go ahead and throw this piece out. So I thought maybe I can make a cross with the extra pieces here. So I'm just cutting it down to make a cross, 2 different pieces, and then I glue that together to make the cross for the Easter Jesus themed portion of Easter. So you've got a fun background, the Easter egg tradition, and then the story of Jesus in a card just from these alcohol inked backgrounds and various shapes. Super fun, and I really love how they turned out. So now I'm ready to go ahead and glue the ovals, the Easter eggs, to my card panel. And I'm using the Barely Art glue to do this. On one of the eggs, I had to put it off to the side and put something heavy on top of it because it did not want to adhere. So that is just something that I'm throwing out there because it's so thick. It just did not like me, but it adhered in the end. So now I'm just adding these sentiment strips and zooming out a little bit because there's a lot going on with this detail. And yeah, getting these panels onto the card bases. I love the black and white with all of the color in those Easter eggs. So for this background panel that I created at the beginning, I'm just adding 2 sentiments in at first, and then I do come back and add a few more details to this card. I could have totally left it alone, but you're going to see how I finish up this card in a little bit. I love the simplicity of the 2 colors in that. So here I'm going to add in the Easter eggs on the second card. The same process, but with a different sentiment. I love that you can do a similar look with a different sentiment. This is the one that was not adhering and had to put it off to the side to get it to flatten, but that was okay. I did that and I worked on the next card. It did not want to stay flat. So here is the cross card that I created with some of these scraps from cutting out the Easter eggs. So I'm just creating that cross, gluing it down on to the embossed background, and then I'm going to add in some sentiments that I prepared, and then add a few more finishing touches. I did not know where I wanted my sentiments at first. I did not want to take away from the cross, so I decided to angle it a little bit up at the top and then put in another sentiment right below the cross to not take away from that cross and just the vibrant colors that were able to be created within the alcohol ink shapes. And I totally could have left this alone, but I wanted to add to this as well, so I grabbed out some sequins from Simon Says Stamp, and these are the Autumn Sky sequins. I'll have them linked down below. I just picked up a few extras. I really like them. They came in a card kit over Christmas in the Holy Night Christmas themed kit, and I love them so much. I used most of them up and I had to grab a few more packs, and I just love how the colors just really correspond with this cross and the alcohol ink background that I had created. So then I'm just gluing those down using my jewel pick wand to get those into place quickly and easily. And then I should have actually adhered this card panel to the card base before I started doing the sequence, but I had the idea in my head, so I needed to get it done. But that's okay. I just didn't put it down. I just held it over, added the glue in, got that on my card panel, and set this off to the side to dry. Didn't want those sequins to fall off. And then I'm going to come back to that card that I needed to set off to the side. And then I will also be adding some of the orange sequins from the Autumn Sky Simon Says Stamp sequence to this card as well, just to bring in a fun element, a little bit of sparkle. It was so hard to find just the orange ones in here. I feel like a clear sequence would look really pretty too on this. But yeah, so I'm just trying to find all of the orange, and then I'm going to glue those down. And we're almost done with these 4 cards. And this is something I definitely want to explore more. How can I take my alcohol ink backgrounds and do more with them? What can I create? What shapes can I create? How can I take them to the next step? And yeah, I'm experimenting and trying to get different looks with the alcohol ink backgrounds. So how can I take them the extra mile and make really fun cards with this technique? So here is the last card. The Easter egg finally adhered and was ready to be finished off, so I'm just adding in some more sentiments, and then I will get this glued onto the card base. And that is going to finish up the 4 cards. I'm going to go ahead and show you them all finished and up close. And here are the cards. So this is the Easter egg card. I love how they shine and just all of the fun colors and the simplicity of the black and white with these pops of color really on here. Just bright colors and black and white. I love that look. And I love how easy the sentiments were to add in. And the sequence on a few of the cards adds some sparkle and shine. So that is all for today's video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. I would love to have you join me here as I share what I love to do with you and hopefully inspire you along the way. I have more Easter cards coming your way, and after Easter is here, I definitely have more cards and projects to share with you too.